First, I just want to let you guys know that I'm not an emotional guy. I don't cry. Seriously, I don't cry. There's one exception, though. There's something about Relay for Life and the experience that makes me emotional. I can't explain it. It's a feeling of one gigantic family. Some are very familiar faces, family and friends. Some are strangers, but all of them are my family. That's why I come here. That's why I work hard year-round to raise money. I'm on the committee, run my team, help execute this event, support my wife, who's one of the tri-chairs. I do it for all of you, my family.
Love you, Sean.
Love you too. This might take a while. It's a really short speech, but it's going to take a while. At Relay, I really enjoy watching all the survivors walk the survivor lap, especially my aunt today. Nothing more special than that. There's nothing better than watching them get the recognition they deserve. I can't help but get emotional and cry. Today, my son was in my arms. He had no idea I was crying. I had sunglasses on. It's all good. But he hugged me and I just cried. I also really love the fight back ceremony. I was really upset last year when we had to cancel it because, after all, it's the last memory of Relay when we leave here feeling good and ready to fight back. We feel most motivated, and that's the best feeling to leave with, is to be able to do something year-round to fight back. But in between the survivor and the fight back ceremony, it's the remember ceremony. Me and the remember ceremony have a really weird relationship. I look forward to it all year long, but then when we get here, I get this feeling in my stomach knowing it's coming, especially this year, obviously. This is by far the hardest thing we do at Relay. But the bottom line is we have to do it. We have to look back at the memories of those who have left us. We have to stare them right in the face, and we have to cry. In all honesty, we should do this more often. It shouldn't be one time a year that we remember our lost loved ones, but it's so hard. It's so hard to be willing to talk about it, laugh about it, cry about it. But that's what I'm here to do today. So let's remember. And for my family and friends here, sorry, this is a very selfish remember ceremony speech, so bear with me. I began to Relay 3 years ago because my father-in-law, Kevin Pelletier, passed away suddenly due to bile duct liver cancer, only days after he was diagnosed. He left 3 daughters, a wife, and the 3 daughters were only 27, 24, and 17 years old, about to graduate high school. He also left behind a 1-year-old grandson, Zach, who I see somewhere over there. Hi, Zach. And days before Kevin passed, he got to see Zach walk for the first time in his hospital room. And honestly, that was the last time he was awake enough to see his grandson, and for that, I'm very grateful. He left behind a brother and 3 sisters as well. 2 of his sisters have since been diagnosed with cancer. One of them today is still battling very hard. She can't be here today because of the intensive treatment she's undergoing. Kevin also left behind his father, who just earlier this week left us to join Kevin in a better place. We know Poppy will be happier there, so today we shed tears of joy for him. Kevin also left behind a son. It's a son he never had until 4 years before he died, when his oldest daughter, Tammy, married me. Kevin was such a great father, not only to his 3 beautiful daughters, but to me as well. I knew him almost 10 years before he passed, and for the last few years, I had a great debate in my head. When is it okay to call your father-in-law Dad? I don't really know the answer. I have a great father myself, that's the problem. He's here to support me tonight in the audience. Hi, Dad, right with Zach. And I've always wondered, is it okay to call two different people Dad? Lots of people do it, but for some reason I never pulled the trigger on it. I wasn't worried about it too much. I knew eventually it would just become natural for all of us. And he'd eventually just be my other dad. And with my father, he's great, so I can't really compare having two dads. I think I did the calculations at one point, and I think I've played over 700 baseball games in my life, from t-ball to college baseball, and now in a 28 over adult men's league, hanging on to the glory. And out of those 700, I believe he's been at over 500 of those games. He's the reason why I'm so into sports, and he's the reason why I ended up working at my dream job at ESPN. But Kevin was a different kind of dad. I lived my whole life in apartments. I never learned to build, fix, paint, hammer, or anything that sounds useful. When Tammy and I bought a house at the age of 24, first thing he did, he helped me build a bar in my basement. He helped me remodel an old closet right before Zach was born, and if Irma and Jay Steves are in the audience, they know exactly what I'm talking about. Two into one, makes sense. He also helped me put a pergola floor in my basement. He also came over plenty of times after random phone calls to help me hang a TV, hang a heavy picture, whatever else I bugged him with. The best part about him helping me was that it was really the other way around. I was helping him, or at least trying. He would say, "Hey, Sean, why don't you hammer this nail in for me?" You know, putting the nail in the exact spot and handing me the hammer. I'd hammer it in. He'd be like, telling me how great of a job I did. "Sean, why don't you saw this piece of wood right here, right in this line? I drew a line for you." Not hard. I'd do it, even though I was scared of the saw that I owned. And he'd tell me how great of a job I did. Luckily, with the closet project, where we ripped down a wall between two closets to make it into one, to have a big closet for Zach, we videotaped it. Sometimes when we think about Kevin, we watch the video just to hear his voice. Kind of silly, but I know me, Tammy, Trisha, and Tina have all sat on the computer just laughing, crying, listening to his voice. We have to laugh every time because you can just see him doing all of the hard work. And then he'd say, "Sean, why don't you take some hacks?" Put the hammer in my hands. I'd reluctantly start swinging with about 1/10 of the result. But he'd laugh quietly, of course, and tell me how great of a job I was doing. I envisioned that day I envisioned that one day I'd be great at the stuff he was teaching me. Unfortunately, he wasn't here long enough to fully train me. Now it's up to my wife, Tammy, who doesn't have nearly the patience that he had. I know Kevin was so proud of me. I feel like he really trusted me and was happy to have me be part of his family. In his last days here, I remember my wife telling him, "Don't worry, Dad, I'll take care of everyone." All I could say to him after that was, "Don't worry, I'll take care of her." I know Tammy is doing everything she can to live up to that promise, and so am I. In years past, here at Relay, members of our family have spoken about being angry, mad, hating cancer. That is all so true, still. But I believe we are now at the next stage of grieving. While none of us will ever fully accept what happened to Kevin, I believe we are able to share memories, laughs, and tears more often, but without the anger. If we gathered up all the hate in this world and directed it at cancer, it wouldn't bring Kevin back. However, it could save someone else. It could save the next one. So I challenge you all to remember. Remember the good times, the bad, just as long as you remember. Remember your loved ones tonight. Remember your loved ones tomorrow. Remember them quietly. Remember them out loud. Most importantly, remember them every day. And never, ever wait to tell someone you love them or to call them Dad. I love you, Dad. Both of you. And now I'd like to invite up a good friend, Noel Mills, to share a song.